Okay. Hopefully you can hear me well. People outside are mowing or doing whatever the fuck they're doing. And it's kind of loud, but let's get to it. Tupperware, first trade. Thank you, Brian. I didn't have this on the watch until like 9:25. So obviously selling off pre-market. We were down about, I want to say 25% at this point of the open. And if you watch my recap yesterday, it's the exact same trade I took on XNet. So we'll get to the one that's really all that matters. I was thinking of it for a Rising Devil, but sorry, I'll explain why it was not a Rising Devil. Didn't have a sell-off right before they opened. If it sold off and opened down here, I would have been looking to enter around this level, coinciding VWAP, moving averages, and the level that was made in pre-market, if we opened down there. But we didn't open down there, we opened a little bit higher, so it was not a Rising Devil for me to look at. So, opening range, breakdown for me. These fucking people outside. I hope you can hear me. So, first candle's really weak. Then we have about a 50% retracement of the first candle, and we get stuck on the moving averages, and we can't make a new high. There's no new high in the first 3 minutes. One problem. So I hit my hotkey. Fuck, I hope you guys can hear me. I hit my hotkey, and it didn't enter me in. Alt S is my hotkey for short, and it brought this up. So it took me a second to realize what was going on. So I missed the entry here and got filled 25 cents lower. So where I get out would have been a 4-to-1, but it was only a 2-to-1. So that was the first start of my mental debacle going into this trading day, was that. It still ended up being a winner, but my fill was garbage. I should have had at least 250 shares. I think I only had like 140. So, bad entry, whatever. We sold off $1. The reason I exited all at 2-to-1 was this candle kind of spooked me. We're at this daily level. We're already down 30%. And this candle comes in, hammer with volume. So I just said, fuck it. I'm going to get all out here. I took about 2/3 here, so I had a third left. But yeah, that was the reason I got out. I could have waited for a new 5-minute high, which would have... I would have made money until... Or I would have got out at 84. So I would have made 20 more cents on like 50 shares or whatever. So not that big a deal. That was a good trade. The beginning of the mental debacle, like I said, but a pretty good trade. And I'll show you guys here. This was the day. We can go to accounts for math because I'm not going to do math. 305 minus 305. That's 4 hours. 1 hour, $75. Yeah, all giving it back on Crocs. But let's look at it. So going in, I forgot to talk about this. Going into this next trade, in the last 5 or 6 trading days, I'm up like 15 to 17% on my account. So in the last 6 trading days, I'm up 15%, which is obviously, I don't need to do the math for anyone. That's incredible. That's 80% in a month. So I always have this thing in the back of my mind, like, ooh, I made so much money lately. There's going to be something's going to happen where I have to like lose money a day, and for some fucked up reason, I think like that. So that's the start. So Crocs first trade was very good, but I got kind of shook because of how. First of all, I didn't realize it was 19 million shares float until later on, which is a big issue on my end. I really should have researched it. But, so this is the perfect entry right here. I was watching it. I was in Tupperware, but I was watching it. It was on my second main watch. This is the entry right here, the break of the high of this candle. That's the perfect entry. We wouldn't have got stopped out on the pullback. Would have got probably, so we would have risked 43 down to 30, so we would have got 3-to-1. That was the perfect entry. My next entry is good. This is a perfect add-in. So I would have added in from here. Could have probably got 4, maybe 5 to 1 trade. But this entry is good. But for this trade to be as good as it could have been, this is the entry. But I was already in another trade. I'm not worried about that. I'm just explaining. I don't know what the fuck I'm even explaining. But this is the perfect entry, and then this is an add-in. And I just missed it because I was in another trade, that's all. So this trade here, we're stuck on the daily level. We're forming 2 hammers. Happy with my patience here. 2 hammers onto the 9. Once we break over the 9, I enter in. Jumps about 8 cents, so I don't get a perfect fill. But pretty good entry. And now my partial was at 45. Just a kind of arbitrary number because we're all-time highs, or we haven't been this high up in 10 years. So my 2 to 1 is at 45. Or maybe it was at 40, but I just picked 45 to be like a little bit under 50, psychological number 50, whatever. So we missed 45. This is where I think the psychology of the day starts unraveling too. So I missed my 2 to 1 by 2 cents. Then I see this candle. I still don't realize it's at 19 million shares yet, by the way. I see this candle, and I say, fuck, let me change it to 40. We hit 40, my limit order's in, but I never get filled. So the high of this candle is 40, my order's never filled. And then, in a matter of 2 minutes, we lose like 2% of the, or maybe 8% of the share price, and I end up losing, I think it was $110, so that's way more than 1R. This was my stop loss, and it jumped it like 18 cents or something, and stopped me out. And I remember thinking I was like I was actually mad. And then at this point, I think I looked up the float, because I was like, how the fuck did it move like that? I looked up the float, I realized it was a low float, 19 million. And then, I don't know what possesses me to do my next 2 trades. I take it short here, we come down, bounce VWAP. I take it short, I see the volume, whatever the fuck I want to convince myself. I take it short. Bring up the 5 minute. Why in the world would I ever take it short right here? Ever. Stupid. Okay. So, short, doesn't work, get stopped out up here. Definitely lost more than 1R. I would say 100%. I don't remember exactly, but I definitely did. Then I just... So from here to here, my opinions completely changed from short to long. How does that make any sense? The answer is, it makes no sense. So we go ahead. We're getting stuck at this level. I think I add into my position here, because we're stuck on the 9 moving average on the 5. It's a fucking small cap. It doesn't matter. But I add in because we get stuck here. Add for the break of this. Whatever. Doesn't work. Stop me out. 4 minutes later, I'm short. And in my own defense, I like that short right there. This is a good short. Is it good to add in here? Absolutely not. But I like that short. So whatever, I end up adding, I have 500 shares after this. And I remember exactly what I was thinking when this happened. By the way, I didn't have an order in. Maybe it would have got filled. 37 was my first partial, but I had 500 shares, so that was 2R right there. I remember seeing this candle, and the way I was thinking, I was obviously gambling. There was no trading. Because I was like, I remember being like outwardly happy, which I never am when I trade. I'm never outwardly happy or outwardly angry or sad. I just sit here and I trade, and that's it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it works. And I remember like not cheering, but being like, fuck yeah, like go lower. Like, so the second you're doing that, for me, that's a bad sign. then we buy back up, and obviously I should exit. Look at these buying volumes or selling volumes. And obviously I should exit. I don't. I did. I'll go back for a second. I did think this was like a kill candle. Like, we're done. We're turning over. I was thinking, okay, I could get definitely 2 to 1 here, and then maybe even down to 36.50. As you can see, that did not happen. I got stopped out up here. Luckily, I stopped myself out. I told myself 50 was the line. I listened to it. 4R on the day. Still pretty good month. I'll be up about 8 or 9 or 10R on the month. Wow, look at that. Like, look at this. Gap 5 cents in a 1 minute candle. Terrible. Pretty big volume right there. Yeah, doing all right on the month. Just have to refocus and go in tomorrow with the right mindset. Don't let today affect me. I think I'll be all right because I know what I did wrong. My strategies are not at fault. I'm at fault. And I know what the issue is. But, thank you guys. See you tomorrow.